All right, what is up, guys? So, the first two episodes of Kenobi are out. They've been out for a week, and I only just got to watch them yesterday because I've been really busy. Or they haven't been out for a week, but they've been out since I think the 20. It's like 5 days that I didn't see them for, but I did it now, and we're gonna do a review of them to get you guys prepared for the third episode, which is coming out today or is already out. But yeah, I wanted to do a review of the series, but I haven't even been able to watch them yet, so we're gonna do that now, finally. First things first, there will be spoilers. Definitely, yeah, we're definitely gonna have some spoilers here. So, I'm literally talking about the episodes. I think that much is kind of clear, but some people, I don't know. Anyway, we'll be having some spoilers here. With that, though, I think we'll just jump into it. There's not really much else I want to say. So yeah, we'll start with episode one, which is the more boring of the two episodes. I don't think it's really wrong for me to say that. The second one is the one with like all the action, but this is very, very important exposition that is needed anyway. So, it's like we need this episode. I'm not saying it's a bad episode, but it's definitely not as exciting as the other one. But yeah, so we're gonna talk about that one first, obviously. They start the whole series off by showing you a big series of flashbacks from like the prequels. You got like Yoda saying shit like Qui-Gon, everything when they find Anakin. And it's like, just kind of going through Obi-Wan's life and like the fall of the Jedi Empire during like Revenge of the Sith and all that kind of stuff. So, it's a really good like refresher for people that need it. I obviously don't because I'm a huge Star Wars fan, so I'm like, yeah, I know all this, but it was good. Like it really sets the tone for like what you're about to see as well, which is kind of nice. The only thing I didn't like about that at the beginning was that it was like the music was like too actiony. It was like, it's like really like it was like some Marvel music kind of like thing that you'd have when a lot of the moments were it just didn't fit them. Like a lot of the moments that we're trying to show here was a lot more sad. It was just like, it's like, you're my brother Anakin, and it's like, dun 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 dun. It should be like kind of like, a little sadder there, like keep the tone down. I don't know. That was the only problem I had with it. I thought it was good though to get like a, review like that. Then we kind of jump into it. We see, first thing we see, I think, is the Inquisitors. They come in and they're hunting a Jedi, and like obviously they're trying to bait you into thinking like, oh, the Obi-Wan's like in this shop, but it's just like some dude that you see, and it's like, okay, whatever. And then the third sister, which is the main Inquisitor we're going to be following through this series, that much is clear, is like, really rash. She's trying to jump the gun. She almost kills this guy, but then the Grand Inquisitor's like, maybe don't kill this guy. So she's like, okay, and she doesn't kill him. And then the man escapes. So I mean, Grand Inquisitor kind of fucked up on that one because he literally just let him escape. So and it's like, oh, maybe it was because he wanted to capture him instead of like killing him. But I'm pretty sure they just kill the same dude later. A little bit of a spoiler alert, but it's like, what? So I don't know. So to be honest, the Grand Inquisitor kind of just fucked up on that one. I'm not even gonna lie to you, but who cares? Finally after that, we get to see Obi-Wan. It looks like he works in a butcher shop, and you know, something that's important is that it's like he steals meat. He steals a little like piece of like whatever the hell animal they're butchering there every day. They've shown that scene like about like 3 or 4 times maybe of like every time he wraps it up and he puts it in his like little shirt pocket and he hides it in his cloak and then he feeds his kind of horse beast. I should be a true Star Wars fan and know what that thing's called, but he has like this kind of pet there that and yeah, and he feeds that every time he gets home. Um, you know, yeah, I don't know. He's friends with like Jawas. But the first thing you really, well, he's not really friends, I guess, but he does business, and he's called himself Ben now, of course. The first thing you really notice though is that Obi-Wan is just, you've never seen him so like so beaten and like just broken down. It's just like he's just nothing. He's just not the same character that he was, and that's one of the themes of the show. So it's great that they're showing that. It's just like you can see on his expression, like he's never smiling. He's always kind of has this like longing look, like it's just like he's thinking about how things could have been gone differently, and it's been like 10 years now, and he can't let it go. He's still having the nightmares you see in one of the scenes about it, and he wakes up asking for Qui-Gon, asking for some sort of guidance through this, but he's not answered. And Yoda had told him, that he was going to teach him how to communicate with Qui-Gon, but it seems that what we're seeing in the show is he hasn't actually been able to do that yet, and it's been 10 years. So my theory personally, of course, because obviously it's super Star Warsy, is that it's like because he's in so much turmoil and he's so sad and everything, his mind's not clear, so he's not in the like he's not connected to the Force, so he actually can't communicate with Qui-Gon no matter how desperately he wants to. Next we'll see him kind of, just go about his daily business. He spends like money out of his own pocket, which I don't know how much he makes, but it can't be too much in the butcher shop to buy this like little toy there for Luke, and he drops it off at his house, and he's got the binoculars, and he watches him. He's watching over him. That's what he's supposed to do. So he drops off this like little toy for him. On the way back, I don't know if I'm recalling the events in the proper order. I hope I am, but it's more of just a review of like what I'm seeing. Not It doesn't have to be like a recollection perfectly in order here. Yeah, but what will happen is he finds that Jedi that they were hunting earlier, and he's like, I know who you are. You're Obi-Wan. He's like, no, no, I'm Ben. Like, I'm not. Who the fuck is Obi-Wan? Like, essentially. And then he's like, no, I know who you are. And he's like, dude, we gotta stand up. Like, we gotta fight. And Obi-Wan says, like, the fight's over. We lost, which is like a really important line because it just shows how much he's really just given up here. Like, he's just broken. There's nothing to it anymore to him. He's just not the same person that he was. So he basically just tells this guy, "Hey, fuck off." And he's like, he wants him to hide. He's like, Jedi are hunted these days, obviously, like as that guy knows because the Inquisitors came after him. It's like it's not the time to stand up. You just need to hide, like get rid of your lightsaber, everything like that. Like give no indication that you are a Jedi and just live your life forgetting that you ever were. The guy, I'm pretty sure he doesn't do that because he ends up getting caught and killed. Obi-Wan meets Owen in the town the next day, and Owen's like, he's being like an asshole, and he's like, gives him his toy back, like, we don't want this, like, stay out of our lives. And then he's like, like, Luke's got to be trained, like, we talked about this. Supposedly they talked about it, but then Owen's going back on his word here, and he's like, oh, like you trained his father, which has got to, like, it's got to cut really deep for Obi-Wan. Like, come on, brother. There's ain't no reason to say that. But yeah, he basically just tells them to stay out of their lives. Like, he doesn't need them. Luke doesn't need him. But Obi-Wan obviously can't do that. So anyway, the Inquisitors, like, show up right after that, and they're looking for Obi-Wan. For some reason, Reva, the third sister, which is the main Inquisitor we're going to be following, is very, very interested in Obi-Wan. Like way more than anything else. And the Grand Inquisitor's like, no, we just need to go hunt Jedi. But she wants like a bigger target. She's going for the bigger fish. She seems like she has something to prove, which is kind of what her storyline is. I think she's an interesting character. We don't know too much about her yet, but it's like she's not like the other Inquisitors. She was kind of picked up off the streets and like, but she does have like the talent and ability. But she needs to prove kind of to everyone else that she belongs or that she is like as strong of an Inquisitor as them. And that's kind of what her storyline is. So she's like, what better way to do that and to earn favor with Vader than to just find and capture Obi-Wan? So she pushes hard for this, and Owen won't give her the answers. She almost kills him, but the other Inquisitor guy's like, don't do that. So Owen lives. Obi-Wan like thanks him, whatever. He's like, hey, thanks for not selling me out. And he's like, I didn't do it for you. And he fucks off. So after this, I don't know if it's after this because I told you I don't remember the exact sequence of the events, but we get some scenes with like Organa and like little kid Leia, which is not something I was expecting from the series. I was like, oh, we're getting a little kid Leia. I've heard a lot of people in the community are like, dude, Leia's so annoying, but it's like you gotta understand, like with Leia's personality being like so rebellious and like as like fiery and strong as she is, it's like of course she acts like that when she's a kid. Like it's just in character and people don't really see that, I think. Yeah, is she annoying? Kind of. I don't know, but people are like really not happy with her, and it's like, dude, don't you understand that this is exactly how she is and what she would be like at this age? Anyway, yeah, she's like a rebellious one. She's like, oh, I don't really like, like she doesn't like the political stuff that she has to do, and she just wants to like actually have fun. And she goes and plays in the forest. She insults her like cousin because he's like a dickhead. He's a tool basically. He's just like all he does is follow his dad's orders because he wants the power. But Leia like sees through that, and she's like, oh, so she just like insults this guy. And then Organa and her mom are just like, yeah, you can't really do that, but like I see where you're coming from, is what Organa says, and she's like, okay, whatever. She fucks off and plays in the forest, right? She goes to the forest, but turns out there's these like bounty hunter dudes, and they capture her. So, yep, she gets caught. They go, and it turns out it's like, oh, it's actually a plot. These people are in communication with Riva, and she is just using Leia as bait because somehow she knows that she has a connection to Obi-Wan. So it's like if they capture Leia, Organa's gonna find Obi-Wan because he's the only one that he trusts, which is exactly what happens. And then they bait out Obi-Wan to go rescue Leia. So Obi-Wan's very hesitant about this. He's like, "Listen, I'm not a Jedi anymore. I don't do that. Like, I have to stay here and protect Luke. Like, there's nothing. It's not about that." And but like, Organa comes to his house personally. He's like, "Dude, like, bro, you gotta help me here." Like, he's reluctant, but Obi-Wan finally kind of starts to like see like, okay, I've got to do something here. So this is like, the character arc. He starts like he's gonna start getting back into it. So he's like, he agrees. Okay, whatever. I'll go rescue her. That's the second episode now. So we're into the second episode. So he goes there, and it's yeah, and he finds this, some people. It's not really too important like what happens here, but he goes and looks, and he does eventually find where Leia's held. He fights the bounty hunters. He has like a little fist fight with them, which is funny because he's like punching them, and then he's like, "Oh!" Like it like hurts his hand because he's so not used to, they use a lightsaber all the time, and he's just like that's just not like something he's ever done. Like you see the same thing when he like kicked General Grievous, albeit Grievous is actually made out of metal, so that one's that would hurt a little more. But yeah, he's like, oh, he keeps punching people, and he's like old too, right? He's like, oh, yeah, I thought that scene was funny. I was waiting for him to like finish the fist fight with these people and say like so uncivilized, but it never happened. I was like, damn it, why couldn't they give us that? So I was a little disappointed in that, but he fights through and he does get Leia out of this place. Now he's gonna get her out of the whole like city and get her back to her house. So Riva's there, of course, and she's a little late. She finds the bounty hunters and she tells basically every remaining bounty hunter in the area that they need to report to her instead of the Grand Inquisitor, because in Grand Inquisitor and her are basically like kind of the character arc with her is like she's just beefing with this guy the whole time. He's like, yeah, no, you like you basically you suck, so fuck you. I'm gonna get all the credit. And she's like, what? I'm like the one that lured him here, which because I don't know, the dude's an asshole, but yeah, and she wants all her credit, so she's like really selfish. So she's like, okay, whatever. So they go their separate ways, and he's like, don't do anything. Like we'll deal with you later. And then obviously she just disobeys that and she goes for him anyway. So she tells all bounty hunters in the area that basically they need to report to her and not the Inquisitors, so that because she wants to find Obi-Wan before he does and get all the credit. So now they're all looking for him, like everyone. He's going with Leia, and it's like funny because they're like on the run, and he's trying to bond with and explain himself to Leia like the entire time, and she's like, this is where of course people are saying that she's really annoying because she's like asking him all these questions like, are you really a Jedi? You can't really be a Jedi. You're old. You're so like all that, and like she's just like basically roasting him the whole time, and he's like, shut up, like we're just trying to get through this, like, and she's so loud and everything, and of course that's why people say she's annoying, but it's like you gotta understand, like of course that's exactly how she would act at that age. And then another thing is she's Anakin's daughter, and I think it's so funny because Obi-Wan's so like he's not, of course, he's not the person he is, so he's not making jokes or anything like that anymore. I mean, he does a little bit still, but it's not to the extent that he was. Like he just seems like this super like fed up old man to like an even higher extent than he had been before. So it gives you like flashbacks to like Anakin and Obi-Wan like banter. It's like but like between him and Leia, because Leia is Anakin's daughter, so of course she's so much like him, and he just seems like he's just so fed up with her. He's like, dude, we gotta like, we're trying to make it through here. I don't know what just happened. I think my camera just cut out for a second. I hope that got all that. But yeah, he basically just seems like super fed up with her and like he's just not happy about anything. So that's yeah, it's pretty funny. Their interactions actually, I like it. A lot of people I guess think it's annoying, but I think it's pretty good. Eventually, at the end of the episode, Riva does find Obi-Wan and Leia, but they do find a ship to escape on. It's like a cargo ship, so it's like no one's gonna see it. It's just gonna be them on that ship. That was the plan that this other character gives them. And they get there, but Riva does find him at the end because of some antics with like he shoots at some bounty hunters. Another thing I think with Riva that's kind of funny is it's like it kind of maybe makes sense for her character. It's just an observation I have. She like jumps everywhere and she's like jumping like people would be like jumping a roof like this. She's like jumping like off the walls, like backflipping, and it's just like, why are you showing off so much? Which I think is part of her character. It's like she feels that need to like prove herself, so she's just like jumping everywhere, and it's so extra, and it's kind of funny to me actually. It was a little funny. Um, yeah, basically, she does end up finding him, and then she tries to bait him out, like saying like, hey, like you can't escape, like I'm gonna capture you. Don't worry, I'm not gonna kill you. I'm just gonna capture you, and I'm gonna bring you to Vader. And he's like, huh? Like he like they don't see each other, but he's like he thinks to himself like what? And then she's like, oh, you don't know? Like he's alive. So that's the moment that Obi-Wan found out that Anakin actually never died. So yeah, so that's 10 years later and he just finds out, yep, Anakin's alive. They do manage to escape. They get out of here. The Inquisitor catches up too and he's like, "Ooh, I'm not going to let you like find Obi-Wan. Like we're going to deal with this right now." And then she just stabs him. She just straight up stabs him, which is not something I was expecting. Especially if you've watched Rebels or any other content, you would know that's not supposed to happen. That guy's alive. Like he's like in media, like the Rebels and stuff, and that happened. And Rebels is after when this series takes place. So it's like, how are you? Why are you dead now? So I'm pretty sure they'll bring him back with like a back to tank or something else. But I think what they did was they just, for convenience sake, they were like, we kind of need to take this guy like out of the plot for the remainder of the show because like it's more of Riva's story of chasing Obi-Wan than his, and if like they're constantly clashing, there's just not enough time for that, or there's just no purpose for it. So they just kind of, and it does tell you something about her character that it's like he's supposed to be her superior, but she doesn't care really about that. Like all she wants is like the approval of Vader is what it looks like, not him. So it's basically like it does tell you something about her character too, that it's like she doesn't actually give a shit about like, you know, the whole brotherhood slash sisterhood of like Inquisitors. She's like, no, it's just about me. So she just straight up kills this guy. And I was like, okay, sure. And then she's like, you can't escape, Obi-Wan. You can't escape him. Darth Vader, she means, right? And they fly off and Leia's like, are you alright? And he's like, yeah, not really though, because he's like, shit, like Anakin's alive. So that's pretty fucked up shit, yeah. And then right there, to finish off the episode, the last thing you see is, like Darth Vader in his like back to tank, and that sets up for episode 3. So that I'm pretty hyped about because I'm really, really excited to see Hayden Christensen reprise his role here as Darth Vader, which is gonna be weird because he's gonna be wearing the suit the whole time. And it's funny. I've seen a couple things about it that he says it's a tank or something along those lines. That like I try to stay away from too much like interview. I just saw that as like a headline. I didn't really watch anything like that. I'm planning to watch it after I've actually seen the whole show. But I also have heard that he's he's watched every single Star Wars movie and he's watched all the animated content and Rebels, everything like Clone Wars in preparation for the role. So he's really trying here, which I'm excited for because I mean, obviously he didn't do quite the greatest job in the prequels, but you gotta think that some of that's based on like the direction and the writing too. Like he wasn't given great lines. Like obviously he definitely could have done better. It's not really a debate. Like the delivery on some of those lines is just like I don't know what to say about it. Like but yeah, I don't know, but I mean it's great on some other ones too. It's the talent I think is there. It's just, but it should be more refined now. I don't know if he's actually taken any roles since Star Wars, but like, he's really trying here. Basically, is what we are seeing. So I'm excited to see what that results in. I'm excited to see him again. So, but probably, yeah, they're setting up to have Darth Vader in the next episode. They just showed him at the end of this one. They just revealed to Obi-Wan that he's alive. Yeah. So far, I've really liked the show. I knew I was going to. Like, I feel like there just wasn't any way they could actually screw this up. Like, you bring back Ewan McGregor, who, by the way, is doing an amazing job. I had heard before this that he was going to kind of go for more of like an Alec Guinness Obi-Wan than like more than his own, which you can tell he's nailing it, by the way. Like, it's like the way he's like projecting his voice and the way he's kind of acting here is like right in between his own Obi-Wan from the prequels and Sir Alex, and it's just like right in there, which is exactly where it should be because it's kind of like the transition period between those two Obi-Wans. So I think he's nailing the performance, by the way. He always does. He's amazing. But yeah, I don't know. Like so far, I've really enjoyed it. I'm just gonna spend some time now to talk about, I don't know, a couple like certain details that I liked or like interesting characters. I think Riva's a pretty interesting character. I don't think she's like a perfect villain, but I think she's cool. Obviously, Darth Vader is gonna be kind of another one of the main villains here that we're gonna see. Riva's interesting. I think something that one of my friends had brought up was like, why do they call her Riva instead of like the third sister? Because they always call them just like the Grand Inquisitor, the third sister, like second brother, whatever the hell all their names are. Like then the thing that I had thought about it was like one, it's probably just because they wanted to give her a name so that viewers can identify it. But two, it might kind of further push that narrative of her being an outsider. It's like they don't truly consider her a sister, so they're just calling her by her name rather than like the third sister, which is what they call her sometimes, but it's like you never hear them call any of the other Inquisitors things like that. So yeah, I don't know. I think she's a pretty interesting character. It's actually kind of nice seeing little Leia, as even as people do say she's annoying. She's kind of funny too. It's just like I was not expecting that in the slightest, though. Like, I had no idea they were gonna put like this 10-year-old Leia as a character in the show, and that like a main plot was gonna revolve around her too, about like that Obi wants to go and rescue her, and they're actually I had no idea those two had ever interacted, which now is doesn't that make A New Hope a little weird because she doesn't really know who he is when they I don't remember exactly how much interaction they have, but they've seen each other for sure. And she finds out in the episode, like he tells her his name's Ben, but people just call him Obi-Wan. She definitely finds out like what his real name is. So you'd think when Luke brings him along too in A New Hope, she'd be like, you you rescued me like however many years ago when I was 10 years old. I don't know. That makes that a little odd. I'm pretty sure they don't know each other in New Hope. You never get any clues that they know each other, but they don't really have too many lines between each other in the first place. Obi-Wan's more disconnected from all the other characters in that movie. It's just kind of meant to be like him and Luke together. The only other thing I can really remember about him and any other characters is just how Han Solo always says he's really weird, which is like, yeah, it's just some comic relief that they put in there. Yeah. I don't know. Those are most of my thoughts for now. Like, it's really good. I'm really excited for the next one, which is either out like in a couple hours or like now. I don't know when I don't know when I'm going to be uploading this video, so it's probably out by the time you see this. But if you haven't seen the other two, or if you just want an opinion about them before you're going to watch the third, yeah, this video hopefully was good for you. It's kind of a lot of it is just for me. It's like I just want to talk about this, and I said I was going to do this when I reacted to those trailers. So yeah, I've been really enjoying the show, and I'll definitely release the next review like a hell of a lot sooner than this one. I was so disappointed that I didn't get to watch them but I've just been so busy with work and other stuff. I haven't even been uploading on the channel much either. If you did enjoy this video though, yeah, I'll be, uploading a lot more frequently now. I'm getting back into the swing of things. So if you did enjoy this video, leave a comment. What do you think? If you disagree with me about anything, if you do agree with me about anything, or just, like, what's the most interesting part about this series to you so far? Like, What have you been really enjoying, or have you not been enjoying it? I'd like to know all that. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, if you want to see more reviews, more Star Wars stuff, more just anything. I make other videos too. Yeah, just you can subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one for episode 3, which will be out a lot sooner. I promise. See you guys later.